team. He wouldn't stay on the fringes for long. "Yo, Steven!" Ballard hollered from his Adirondack throne, a solo cup held out like an offering. Wade may have been a football god, but Ballard was still king of this party. I stepped into the golden glow of a lantern that hung above our heads, hands in my pockets to keep my newest tic from drawing attention. My fingers flexed involuntarily, and I gritted my teeth. "Here." Ballard pushed the cup toward me, and I waved it away. He knew I wouldn't drink it, not while on the kind of meds I take. Still, he pushed it at me again, and I shook my head in refusal. He was like that when people were around, less my friend and more the cool class clown. "He doesn't want it," someone said. I glanced around the group. It was Joan Pearson. I'd looked right past her earlier, not recognizing her with newly dyed black hair. Her hair used to be a soft brown. She had these piercing dark eyes, and she narrowed them in Ballard's direction, defending me. She had a bit of a messiah complex going on. "I can speak for myself," I said. A sudden thump of bass from the speakers drowned me out, NF's quick-tongued shooting lyrics like arrows all over the deck. Joan tossed back raven hair and sipped from her own solo cup. Ballard shrugged and turned his attention back to the others. Aaron and Miles stepped out of the house and made their way to where I was standing. Some friends were there, plus a couple of girls I didn't recognize, and Joan's friend Sylvie. Sylvie was showing this guy Andrew something on her phone. "Awesome," Andrew said, grinning. "Let's play." "Play what?" one of the girls asked. Her hair was curly and damp, like she'd just been for a swim. "Sylvie found this app, like Spin the Bottle." Andrew waved the phone in our direction, its glittery red case catching the lantern light. "We put everyone's name and picture into the app," Sylvie explained. "Then we spin the virtual bottle and it tells us who to kiss." "That's boring," this guy Case said. "If I wanted to kiss any girl here, I'd do it. I don't need an app for that." Case didn't need alcohol to act like an idiot, but he'd had some. "I dare you," Ballard said. He motioned with his cup as a group of girls walked up the steps. One of them wore a Tallahassee High t-shirt, and I figured that's why I didn't recognize half the people there. They were from nearby towns, crashing from some other party at someone else's lake house. Lake Martin was surrounded by tiny Alabama towns full of tiny Alabama lives. One day, I'd get the hell out of this place for sure. "Pick a girl," Case demanded, unable to turn down a dare. "Any girl." "Her." Ballard pointed at one of the new arrivals. She wore jean shorts and a yellow bikini top. I stared a little too long. My foot jerked twice, fast, and I fell into the chair next to Ballard. No one noticed, too intent on Case and the girl. Case tried to march across the deck, but he'd had a few too many and swayed as he went. The girl turned when he planted himself beside her. Case leaned forward, but the look on the girl's face was enough to make him back down. We laughed so hard I pulled my hands out of my pockets to hold my sides. Ballard spilled his beer on my shoes, and Joan said something to Sylvie, something that sounded like assholes. Case didn't bother coming back to the group. He went into the house, hunting for another beer to drown his humiliation. I wasn't sorry for him. He had to know he deserved it. I'd never kissed anyone, but even if I'd kissed 1,000,000 girls, I couldn't imagine walking up to one and laying it on her. Maybe I was naive. Okay, I know I was naive, but I was positive I could never be as big of a jerk as Case Malone. "Hey, great party, man." Another guy joined our circle, reaching over to fist pump Ballard. We were an odd combination. Ballard's court of fools. Andrew was a junior like me, an okay guy. Joan was a tough girl, smart and always angry for no known reason. She had this existential angst factor that kept her from fitting in much of anywhere, but she used to date Wade. He was her ticket into any group, him and Sylvie. Sylvie was one of those all-around friendly people. She could fit in comfortably anywhere. Beautiful, with white blonde hair and round honey-brown eyes, like some kind of angel. Sylvie was welcome wherever she went. None of us had dated her, but we all daydreamed about it, unable to ignore the shape of her in tight jeans and a red sweater. Red was